It was a night meant for music, memories, and magic at Gillette Stadium in Foxborough, Massachusetts. Coldplay, one of the world's most beloved bands, was in town, and the atmosphere was charged with energy. Fans gathered to hear hits like Fix You, Yellow, and Viva La Vida, and the stadium was full of fans ready to make new memories. But what should have been just another concert moment quickly became a viral sensation that no one expected. As Coldplay performed, the infamous kiss cam panned across the stadium, capturing couples sharing intimate, romantic moments for the entire audience to witness. It's a light-hearted tradition at concerts, but this time it went from playful to awkward in an instant. The camera landed on a couple sitting together in the crowd, Andy Byron, the CEO of a tech company called Astronomer, and Kristin Cabot, the company's chief people officer. It was all normal at first. The audience didn't know who they were, just a couple like any other. But as the camera focused on them, something unexpected happened. Byron, upon realizing they were on the big screen, quickly ducked his head out of view, trying to avoid the camera's gaze. Cabot, equally uncomfortable, turned her back to the camera and buried her face in her hands, clearly trying to deflect attention. The moment felt awkward, and the crowd shifted from cheers to confused murmur. That's when Coldplay's lead singer, Chris Martin, seized the moment and cracked a nervous joke into the microphone. Either they're having an affair, or they're just very shy. The crowd laughed, but the damage was done. What was meant to be a harmless, humorous moment quickly took on a much darker tone. It didn't take long for internet users to dig deeper. The pair in the spotlight were identified as Andy Byron and Kristin Cabot, both high-ranking executives at Astronomer, a company that had been rapidly growing and gaining attention in the tech world. But why did their reaction seem so off? Was this a simple moment of embarrassment, or was there something more? The video of the kiss cam interaction quickly went viral across social media platforms, racking up millions of views and sparking speculation. What had started as a playful concert tradition had now turned into a public spectacle, and for Byron and Cabot, it was only the beginning. So who is Andy Byron, the CEO caught in the middle of this viral Coldplay kiss cam fiasco? On paper, he's a seasoned tech executive with an impressive track record. Byron is the CEO of Astronomer, a data orchestration company that provides solutions to help businesses scale their data processing. He joined the company in 2023, and under his leadership, Astronomer had grown quickly, securing millions in funding and attracting top-tier clients. Byron's career before Astronomer was just as impressive. He had leadership roles at several prominent tech companies, including Lacework, Cybereason, and Fuse. His success in those roles helped him climb the corporate ladder and eventually take the helm at Astronomer. However, despite his outwardly polished career, Byron's leadership style has not been without controversy. At Cybereason, a cybersecurity company where he worked prior to Astronomer, Byron was reportedly known for his high-pressure management tactics. Multiple former employees have described the work environment as toxic, with one source saying Andy fostered a culture of fear. His leadership approach was aggressive, often involving intimidation and threats of job loss to push employees to perform at extreme levels. These allegations followed him from company to company, but they never really made major headlines until now. And then came the kiss cam. Now, with Byron's leadership and personal life suddenly thrust into the public eye, those past controversies are resurfacing. The Coldplay kiss cam incident has turned the spotlight on him in a way he never expected. What should have been a private moment became the latest in a long list of PR disasters that now threaten to undermine his reputation, and by extension, the future of Astronomer. But this incident is about more than just a personal embarrassment. It highlights a bigger issue: power dynamics. As CEO, Byron holds significant influence over his employees and the company's culture. If this kiss cam incident is a sign of poor judgment in his personal life, what does it say about his leadership at Astronomer? His behavior is under intense scrutiny now, both publicly and privately. And his reputation isn't the only thing at risk. Astronomer's future might be on the line as well. Now let's talk about Kristin Cabot, the woman beside Andy Byron in that infamous kiss cam moment. Cabot is not just any random employee at Astronomer. She's the company's chief people officer, which means she's in charge of shaping the company's culture, managing talent, and ensuring that the organization's leadership sets the right example for employees. In her role, Cabot is expected to model professionalism, foster a healthy working environment, and uphold the company's values. Cabot joined Astronomer in late 2024, bringing years of experience from previous HR leadership positions at other high-growth tech companies. Before Astronomer, she worked as the vice president of people at Neo4j, a leading graph database company, where she was responsible for driving organizational change and managing the company's global workforce. Her track record as a strategic people leader made her an attractive hire for Astronomer as they looked to scale. But Cabot's role at Astronomer wasn't just about overseeing policies or hiring strategies. It was also about cultivating a strong company culture. Part of her job was to ensure that everyone from the junior employees to the C-suite maintained the highest standards of behavior, ensuring the company operated with transparency, integrity, and fairness. And this is where the kiss cam incident becomes so complicated. Cabot, in her position as the head of HR, has the responsibility to model and enforce the standards of professionalism she expects from the rest of the organization. When she, along with the CEO, is thrust into a viral moment of potential workplace misconduct, whether real or perceived, it brings into question the integrity of Astronomer's leadership as a whole. In a company where the two most senior leaders are allegedly involved in an affair, or at least have the appearance of one, how can employees trust the organizational culture? The perception that the top leadership is not above reproach can have far-reaching consequences, undermining the entire company's mission and values. What's even more troubling is the lack of a clear, immediate response from the company. While the rest of the internet was speculating, cracking jokes, and dissecting every bit of the kiss cam footage, Astronomer stayed silent. No official statement, no reassurance to employees or investors, no clarification of what happened. This lack of transparency is raising alarms about Astronomer's leadership and their ability to handle crises. The silence speaks volumes. Astronomer is now facing a reputation crisis. If the company's leaders aren't stepping up to clarify or address the situation, it leaves employees, clients, and investors questioning what kind of leadership Astronomer truly has. Within hours of the kiss cam moment, the video went viral. What started as a lighthearted, awkward interaction at a Coldplay concert quickly snowballed into one of the most talked-about viral moments of 2025. Social media platforms were flooded with reactions, memes, and speculations, turning Andy Byron and Kristin Cabot into instant internet celebrities. For all the wrong reasons. The clip was everywhere, on TikTok, X, formerly Twitter, Reddit, and Instagram. With every passing minute, the video gained more views, comments, and shares. People couldn't get enough of the awkwardness, and the commentary started flowing in. The internet had already latched onto a new meme, and it was impossible to escape. One of the first viral reactions came in the form of a tweet that said, "Coldplay's kiss cam fix you, but not your marriage." As the video spread, more and more people began to jump in on the joke, turning it into a spectacle of its own. On TikTok, users took the video and added their own voiceovers and edits. Some added dramatic music, while others included sarcastic commentary, turning the interaction into a full-blown comedy sketch. One TikTok user even posted a video with the caption, "When your CEO and HR chief are caught by the kiss cam, but your whole company is a mood." The memes kept coming, but it wasn't just about the awkwardness of the moment. The internet was doing what it does best, digging for details. Internet sleuths began researching Andy Byron and Kristin Cabot's pasts, pulling up LinkedIn profiles, company press releases, and even digging through employee reviews on sites like Glassdoor. As soon as people figured out who these two executives were, the deeper questions started. How did this play out inside the company? What did this mean for Astronomer's corporate culture? Could this be the end of Andy Byron's career as CEO? Was Kristin Cabot just as involved as the memes suggested? The internet's reaction was a mix of comedy and genuine concern. While many laughed at the absurdity of the situation, others took a more critical approach, questioning whether this scandal would have lasting repercussions for both Astronomer and the individuals involved. Then came Coldplaygate, the unofficial name given to the scandal, which started trending across social media. It was a play on the infamous Watergate scandal, but instead of politics, it was a tech CEO and an HR executive at the heart of it. The term quickly became synonymous with the moment itself. People used it in countless memes, tweet threads, and posts about corporate misconduct, affairs, and workplace ethics. Even former Astronomer employees weighed in. One former worker tweeted, "Coldplay really said fix you and ended this CEO's career. Didn't see that one coming." The reaction online was swift and unforgiving, and the memes showed no signs of slowing down. The internet had fully embraced this scandal, turning it into a cultural phenomenon. But as the memes continued to spread, the bigger question remained. What would be the fallout for Andy Byron and Astronomer? The Coldplay kiss cam incident has made one thing clear. Andy Byron's career is in jeopardy. What started as a private, awkward moment has now spiraled into a full-blown public scandal, and the fallout has only just begun. In the immediate aftermath, Byron issued a public apology, stating that the moment was a deeply personal mistake, and apologizing to his family and employees. But apologies, especially when delivered after a public spectacle like this, rarely have the desired effect. The damage was already done. Byron's reputation was already tarnished, and with every passing day, more details were emerging about his leadership at Astronomer. The real question now is, can he survive this? And if so, at what cost? On the one hand, Byron has spent years building his career in the tech world, and his track record as a CEO isn't entirely without merit. Astronomer has seen significant growth under his leadership, and the company is well-positioned in the data orchestration space. His past successes at other companies like Cybereason and Lacework are undeniable. But, as we've seen with many high-profile scandals, a single moment, whether personal or professional, can undo years of hard work. But it's not just Byron's career that's at risk. Astronomer itself is now under a microscope. The company has yet to issue a formal response, and that silence is speaking volumes. In the tech world, investors, clients, and employees expect swift action and transparency when a crisis like this arises. By failing to address the situation publicly and proactively, Astronomer is sending a message that it lacks the necessary leadership and accountability to manage its own brand and reputation. Astronomer's board of directors is likely under pressure to make a decision soon. Do they stand by Byron and risk further damage to the company's public image? Or do they cut ties with him in an attempt to salvage whatever's left of the company's reputation? Removing a CEO, especially one who has been at the helm during such rapid growth, is never an easy decision. However, in this case, the longer they wait, the more damage they risk. But it's not just the company that's facing the fallout. Employees at Astronomer are now wondering what kind of example they're being asked to follow. If the CEO and the head of HR are embroiled in such a scandal, how can employees trust that the company values integrity and professionalism? The lack of clear communication from Astronomer's leadership could have long-term consequences for employee morale and retention. So will Andy Byron survive this scandal? The answer depends on how Astronomer handles the crisis from here on out. If they act swiftly, make necessary leadership changes, and restore trust with employees and investors, there's a chance Byron could ride out the storm and even come back from this. But if they continue to stay silent or mishandle the situation, the damage to Byron's reputation and to Astronomer's future could be irreversible. The next few weeks will be critical for both Andy Byron and Astronomer. And for all of us watching from the sidelines, the lesson is clear. When you're in the public eye, even the smallest mistake can turn into a career-ending moment. And maybe next time, when the camera lands on you at a concert, just kiss.